All right, today we're jumping into the book of James. And look, if you're picturing some dry, dusty old sermon, you're in for a surprise. This book is more like a super practical, straight to the point guide for living. And it tackles a huge problem, one that every single one of us deals with. So here's the central question, the big one. What does it actually mean to truly believe something? I mean, think about it. We all say we believe in things, right? Honesty, kindness, you name it. But what's the real difference between just saying it and actually doing it? That gap, that little space between what comes out of our mouths and what we do with our hands and feet, well, that is exactly what the book of James is completely obsessed with.
Okay, first up, A Guide to Enduring, all about how hardship forges character. So where does James kick things off? Well, somewhere you probably wouldn't expect. He starts with hardship, with trials. His whole point is that it's in the tough times that our true character is really built.
He says this, "Count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience." Now, count it all joy. I mean, that sounds kind of crazy, doesn't it? Who's happy about going through a tough time? But there's a real logic here. The idea is that the testing of your faith, the thing that puts what you believe under pressure, it actually produces something incredibly valuable, patience. And we're not talking about just sitting around waiting. This is more like endurance, a kind of active, tough-as-nails resilience. So this really sets up two completely different ways to go through life. On one side, you've got the wavering mind. He describes this as being like a wave just getting tossed around by the wind and the sea, totally unstable. He actually calls this person double-minded. But then, on the other side, that's the goal, the patient mind, the one that's become strong and steady because of those trials. And the result? To be, in his words, perfect and entire, wanting nothing. That's the kind of character he's talking about. All right, part two, and this is the big one. Faith that's more than words. This is the core argument of the entire book. You can feel how everything we just talked about, endurance, patience, it's all building up to this huge point. And he just lays it right out there with this really sharp question. What doth it profit, though a man say he hath faith and have not works? Can faith save him? In other words, what's the point? What good is it to say you believe something if it doesn't change a single thing about how you live your life? Can an idea all by itself really mean anything? And his answer is a loud, clear nope. And he gives this incredible, almost painfully clear example to make his point. Okay, picture this. You see someone who is freezing cold, they're starving, and you walk up to them and you say, "Hey, hope you feel better, go get warm, get something to eat." But then you just walk away. You don't actually give them a coat. You don't offer them any food. He asks, what good did your words do? They're totally empty, right? Absolutely useless. And this all leads to probably the most famous line in the entire book. Even so faith, if it hath not works, is dead, being alone. Wow, so belief isn't just something you agree with in your head. If it doesn't lead to action, if it doesn't do something, it's just lifeless. It's a body without a spirit. It's dead.
So it all boils down to this really simple idea. It's not about being a hearer of the word. It's about being a doer of the work. And he has this brilliant metaphor for it. He says a hearer is like someone who glances at their face in a mirror, and the second they walk away, they completely forget what they look like. That's what happens when you hear a good idea, but do absolutely nothing about it. Poof, the idea is just gone.
Okay, on to our third section, the power of the tongue, or the small member with great power. So if these works are the proof of what we really believe, what do they actually look like day to day? Well, James gets super practical. And his first big example, it might not be what you're expecting. It's all about our words. And he just fires off these three amazing metaphors to show you how much power is packed into our speech. Think about it. A tiny bit in a horse's mouth can turn the whole animal. A small rudder on a huge ship steers the entire vessel. And just one little spark can set a whole forest on fire. That, he says, is your tongue. It has this unbelievable power to steer, to guide, and yeah, even to destroy. Then he points out this massive contradiction. He says, out of the same mouth proceedeth blessing and cursing. And he's just baffled by this. How is it possible that the same source can produce good and evil? For him, this isn't just a mistake. It's evidence. It's proof. Your speech is one of your most consistent works, and it's like a window right into what's actually going on in your heart. Next up, section 4, pride, wealth, and judgment. Basically, how we treat other people reveals who we really are. So we've gone from our inner endurance to our words and now to our outward actions towards others. It's another crucial work. And again, he gives us this really vivid story. Let's say you're hosting something and two people walk in. First, a guy with a gold ring and fancy clothes. You rush over and say, "Hey, come sit here in this great spot." Then a poor man in rags comes in, and you tell him, you can just stand over there, or, sit on the floor by my feet. James says that in that single moment, you've shown favoritism. You've become a judge with evil thoughts. Your action, your work, just revealed everything about what you truly value. And this whole takedown of pride and favoritism ties directly into how he sees life itself. He asks, "For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanisheth away. It's like your breath on a cold day. It's there for a second and then it's just gone." He's warning against making all these arrogant plans like you're in complete control, when really the whole thing is incredibly fragile. It's a huge call for humility. And this really is the core principle behind all of it. God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. It's presented as this really clear, straightforward choice. You can have pride, which leads to pushback and resistance, or you can have humility, which opens you up to grace. And this very idea sets the stage for his final, ultimate definition of what real belief looks like in action. All right, our final part, what is true religion? An action-based definition. So after all of this, after talking about trials and faith and works and the tongue and pride, what's the bottom line? He pulls it all together right here with a super practical, no-fluff definition of what he calls pure religion. And here it is, his definition of pure religion: to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction, and to keep himself unspotted from the world. Notice what's missing. There's nothing in there about complex ceremonies or having all the perfect theological ideas. For James, it all comes down to two simple things. Number one, compassionate action. Actually going out and caring for the most vulnerable people you can find. And number two, personal integrity. Making sure you don't get stained by the corrupt parts of the world. Just action and integrity. That's the whole deal. And that brings us right back to where we started. We live in a world that is just drowning in words, in opinions, in talk. And James leaves us with this incredibly sharp, personal challenge that cuts through all the noise. He's essentially asking us to forget, just for a second, everything we say we believe, and instead ask a tougher question. What do our actions, our actual, real-world works say about who we really are?